The rumors spread like wildfire. Whispers at first, then bold pronouncements on fringe websites. Could it be true? After all these years, could he still be alive? The world thought it knew the truth. A daring raid, a bullet in the darkness, justice served. But memories can be deceiving, and the past has a way of reaching out from the grave. What if the story everyone believed was a carefully crafted lie? The grainy image surfaced on an obscure internet forum. A man, his beard longer, his face etched with time, but his eyes still burning with the same fanaticism. The video was brief, the message chillingly clear. "You celebrate my death," a voice rasped in Arabic, "but I am still here. My war has just begun." The world watched in disbelief. The ghost of Osama bin Laden had returned. Panic. It started subtly, a tightening in the gut, a quickening pulse. Then, it spread like a virus. Airports transformed into fortresses overnight. Security checkpoints sprouted on street corners like iron mushrooms after a rain. The world held its breath, bracing for another blow. Intelligence agencies went into overdrive. Satellites scanned the most remote corners of the Earth. Every grainy video, every intercepted communication was scrutinized for clues. The hunt was on, more desperate, more urgent than ever before. The hunter had become the hunted, and the world was a much smaller, much more dangerous place. The world watched, waited, and worried. The fragile peace that had settled after bin Laden's supposed demise shattered. Trust eroded, replaced by suspicion and fear. The global village felt more like a prison yard, every eye searching for the next threat. Alliances strained under the weight of suspicion. Old wounds reopened. The Middle East, already a tinderbox, threatened to ignite. Accusations flew, fingers pointed. The world teetered on the brink of chaos, united only by fear and uncertainty. World leaders caught off guard scrambled to respond. Stern pronouncements rang out from capitals across the globe, vowing to hunt down the fugitive and bring him to justice. But behind the brave words, fear lingered. The American president, his face etched with grim determination, addressed the nation. His words were measured, resolute, but the strain in his voice betrayed the truth. The war on terror, once declared over, had been reignited, and this time the enemy was a phantom, a ghost returned to haunt them. Section 5. The Terror Within. Terrorism took on a new, insidious form. Gone were the days of large-scale attacks, replaced by a campaign of whispers and shadows. Fear itself became the weapon. Every crowded marketplace, every packed stadium, a potential target. The enemy was everywhere and nowhere, a constant, invisible threat that gnawed at the edges of everyday life. Sleep came less easily. Trust became a luxury few could afford. The world, once a tapestry of diverse cultures and beliefs, retreated into itself, united in fear and suspicion. Section 6. The New Face of Fear. Bin Laden's reappearance breathed new life into extremist groups. Lone wolves inspired by his defiance emerged from the shadows. A new generation of terrorists, radicalized online, took up arms. The enemy was no longer a defined organization but a hydra, a many-headed monster that defied easy categorization. The internet, once hailed as a tool for connection, became a breeding ground for hate and radicalization. Propaganda spread like a virus, infecting vulnerable minds, twisting their anger and frustration into a toxic ideology of violence. Section 7. A World Haunted. The world became a haunted house, its inhabitants jumping at shadows, seeing threats in every corner. The line between vigilance and paranoia blurred. Freedoms once taken for granted were sacrificed on the altar of security. Surveillance became the norm. Cameras watched every move. Data was collected, analyzed, and stored. The walls were closing in, but the enemy remained elusive, a phantom menace that haunted the collective consciousness of the world. Section 8. The Price of Freedom. The years passed, each one marked by the specter of bin Laden's return. The world had changed. It had grown accustomed to the fear, the constant threat lurking just beneath the surface. But at what cost? The price of freedom, it seemed, was eternal vigilance. The world had become a fortress, its inhabitants prisoners of their own fear. The open hand of friendship had closed into a fist, ready to strike at the slightest provocation. Section 9. A Legacy of Terror. Osama bin Laden, the man, may have been a ghost, but his legacy was all too real. He had won a different kind of victory, one that transcended physical survival. He had sown the seeds of fear and distrust that continued to poison the world. His true victory lay not in the number of lives he had taken, but in the countless others he had forever changed. The world he left behind was a darker, more uncertain place, where fear and suspicion had become the new normal. The war on terror, it seemed, would never truly be over.